Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Ghosts and Spirits video. Alright, another entry here based on your suggestion. So I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of more throughout the rest of the week. I promised I was going to start these basically towards the weekend. I already did the other one just recently, but this one is a brand new suggestion. So I might mix in some older ones with some newer ones with the rest of the videos. This one is a suggestion that actually led me to a place. So instead of just incorporating that suggestion, I want to talk about the place it's located in, because apparently this place is very haunted, this city. And reading some of the information, there's a multitude of ghostly hauntings right there. I love information like that, because whenever you have a specific location that has multiple areas of reported hauntings, it just makes it so fascinating. Absolutely wants to make me go visit it and try to find all these particular hauntings. So essentially you're going to get several ghosts and spirits within this one video, and I'm talking about the location known as Pluckley, which is located there. It's a village of some sort there in Kent, England. So you're looking at a picture of Pluckley here. Now there are several, very much several of these hauntings there, pretty famous ones apparently. I'm only going to highlight a few of them, but that just touches barely, I guess, the types of hauntings that are there. And what I love about some of these is that you can actually find them to the very location and also to a very specific time. I absolutely love those, because whenever there's a very specific location that has a particularly known haunting, what better way to try to test it out rather than, let's say, being told that there's a ghost somewhere within, let's say, several dozen acres. No, if you were told that there was a very specific house, and within that house in a very specific room, that's where you can find the ghost. That's what I love. That's what I try to find whenever I do my own ghost trips. Kind of like when I went to Fort Concho there in San Angelo, Texas. There was one of the forts, one of the, I guess, cabins there that was haunted by a guy named Sergeant Cunningham. That's the only one that he haunts, and so that one is the one I zeroed in immediately. But in any case, let's talk again about Pluckley, this village there in Kent, England. Here are some of the reported hauntings there. There's one called the Screaming Man of the Brickworks. You're looking at a picture of the brickworks there. The way the story goes was there was, whenever this brickworks was in operation, there was a portion of it dedicated towards clay, and either he had a clay wall fall on him, or based on other stories, he had something where he fell into a mound of clay of some sort. Either way, though, it led to his demise. But before that happened, there were his screams. His screams were basically hollering throughout the entire brickworks before he ended up dying. And afterward, if you go there to this very day, even though the brickworks is of course 100% abandoned, there's nothing there, at least from what the picture looks like there's nothing showcasing anything going on there. If you go to this very specific location, you can still hear his screams coming from the brickworks. Now, I found a website where it was trying to, it seems like, narrow down more information about this, like who had heard these screamings, or maybe even who an employee was that could be related to this screaming man, and they couldn't come up with something specific. So it looks like maybe it's a tale lost in time, the information related to whoever the screaming man was. But if you wanted a specific location to go visit a reported haunting there in Pluckley, what better way to start than right there at the brickworks? Now, another one is this. There's apparently an old gypsy woman who had something by a crossroads bridge there in Pluckley. She made a living by selling watercress. I think it looks like it's like a type of plant of some sort. But after she died, she still is haunts that particular area to this very day. There's also the idea that she actually died because she was smoking a pipe of some sort, and that pipe, the sparks from it accidentally ignited some nearby whiskey or some nearby liquor that she was drinking. So that ultimately led to her unfortunate demise. And because of it, and because of the exasperating circumstance of her demise, that's why she haunts that very specific location there at the Crossroads Bridge. So another very, very interesting thing. There's another fascinating ghost there in Pluckley. He's known as the highwayman. And what this was if you go to an area called the Stewart area, just outside of Pluckley, there used to be a guy who was someone, I don't know if he was a prankster of some sort, or if he was someone that was doing this, I guess in a more sinister way, like, I don't know if like he was trying to rob people or something, but in either case, he would always hide behind a tree, and he was called a highwayman for this. He would always hide behind a tree and then jump out at anybody coming across that location. So it seems like he must have been on some kind of corner of some sort right by that tree, so that way he could remain unseen. And he got some good kicks out of it, because apparently he was pretty successful at what he was doing. Eventually, though, everybody started catching on, and it seems like he became more of a nuisance, like a very, very annoying thing. Like, people did not like him for doing this. And again, maybe it was more sinister, like maybe that's how he got his kicks out of it. Well, one day he came across a person, wrong place, wrong time. He was doing the very same thing, jumping from right behind a tree, but this person he was doing it was some guard, or it could be some thief of some sort. Either way, this guard was armed with a spear, and when he came across this quote-unquote highwayman and suddenly had this huge terror happen to him, in other words, the highwayman jumping out and scaring him for life, then that's when that guard slash thief threw the spear, and it basically just went right through this highwayman, so much so that it impaled him on the tree that he was just a few seconds before behind. So that tree is no longer there. So if you're looking for that specific tree, unfortunately you're out of luck. But it seems like not only is his ghost still there jumping out from behind something, but he's actually jumping out from a ghost tree, if you can believe that. Apparently the very tree that used to be there that he jumped out of, it too went with him into the afterlife. And so if you come across that area right outside Pluckley, known as Stewart area, and you're fortunate enough, you get to see the ghost of this highwayman jumping out of a ghost tree, scaring you, or trying to scare you, in other words. So pretty fascinating stuff. Another one, this one definitely caught my attention. It's known as the Screaming Woods, and these are all the woods located right next there to that town, Pluckley. They have another name called the Daring Woods, but they've earned the moniker the Screaming Woods, and the reason for it is this. If you're brave enough to travel to those woods at night, and let's say you come across, I guess, something deep enough in terms of the woods, and it's all silent, give it a couple of moments, and then apparently you can start hearing screams, like actual screams, from what it sounds like people. And the way that the locals there describe it, they've surmised that these must be the screams of all the people who have gone into those woods and unfortunately gotten lost. Because imagine that scenario. There they are, they're lost day 1, day 2, day 3, and then it continues. They start losing hope, they start getting panic, and eventually they just lose their humanity. Like, there they are, just screaming for their life, trying to find any help, like anybody that can help them out there within these lost woods, and then they ended up dying right out there. Well, if you go there those nights, there in the Screaming Woods, and these ghosts are trying to relive their experience, then that's what you'll hear. I think I even saw there was a bunch of links on YouTube showcasing purported captures of these screams right there in those woods. I don't know if I would be brave enough to go out there at night in those woods just for that purpose. That would be pretty scary, but if you're in that area and you wanted to, you can definitely do so. But that's pretty much it. That's all the information that I have, at least the ones that stood out with regards to the ghost. Oh yeah, one more actually. This one, the Lady of the Rose Court. This one is very interesting because if you go there to Pluckley and you go to a house called Rose Court, you can go there to a very specific time period, 1600 to 1700 hours or 4 or 5 o'clock p.m. specifically. If you go there during that time period, then you'll meet the quote unquote lady of the Rose Court. Apparently, she was someone that was involved in some kind of love triangle of sorts with between some other people, and because of it, it looks like things went wrong. She committed suicide. She ate poisonous berries, and because her life ended so shortly, now she frequents that area. But for whatever reason, if you go between 4 and 5 p.m. right there at that Rose Court, then that's when you can run into her. So that, again, that's what I love. I love reading information like that, because if I were in that area, I would absolutely go straight towards that house, make sure I can time it between those hours, and then that way be ready. See if I could catch her right there at that home. So very, very fascinating stuff. Other stories, other ghosts exist there in Pluckley, but again, those are the ones that stand out. But if anyone has any more information, experience, someone knows someone that maybe is from that area and happens to have seen these stories in person, or know someone that does, please post those comments below. Very, very interesting. All this great information from such a tiny town. So it's I'm glad to be able to share it with everyone here. So, all right, everybody. Thanks again as always. Take care. Bye.